Okay, 4 ways we're going to talk about why it's not you. It's your brain. It's that thing between your ears. It keeps you at one place, comfortable. But life is more exciting when we're vital, when we're growing, when we're learning, when we're trying something new. So why and how does that brain keep us in the same comfort place? Why? Well, we're going to go over 4 things. 4 quick things you could start this month. You could do one this week. Just do one at a time so you can break out of that cycle of comfort. As a woman doc, I speak to many women doctors out there. We're not burned out necessarily. We're pre-burned out, so just feeling stuck or undervalued, like underestimated. Those are the words that come to mind to a lot of women docs that I speak with. So, how do you move it forward? How do you get out of that zone of complacency, zone of that you're used to, that comfortable zone? Maybe not pleasant, but you're used to that spot of not being valued, not being, uh, estimated. So a lot of docs just say, like, people don't expect that I have the solutions, I have the good ideas, or they don't listen. They're not hearing me in a meeting. I'm being spoken over in a meeting. I'm not on the list to get that leadership job. I'm not on the list to, be the PI of a study. I'm not getting the education at your institution. You're just not being invited, being tapped, like your turn. So here at Brain Fresh, I like to give tools that you can start today so you can see options. I give you permission slip, so that you can start to see your own options and grow and build your own tomorrows, right? So we don't need to be weighted, tapped, and say, no, you get all the opportunities. We can here build our own options, build our skills, so more doors open, and we have the opportunities and options that we want, that are important to us, because we want to feel valued, we want to feel connected, we want to feel that we matter, right? That our work matters. That's why I built Fresh Path MD. It's a community for women docs. So come on in and join me. I'll put the link here in the video. Come on in. It's a safe place for women docs. I'm just building it so you could be, one of the founding members. I'd be honored if you join. It's for women doctors. Okay, so how do we go from complacency to courageous? What about that gap? There's that space before we actually make the move. We might just have those feelings like something's got to give, something's got to change. How do we get into action? That's what we're going to talk about. 4 ways, right? So stay to the end because I have some good stuff at the end and a treat for you. Okay, so come on in. We got this. Number 1, we have to name the real hesitation that we have in taking the step across the gap. So we're complacent, we're comfortable. We want to look for new options. We want the door to open. We want to learn new skills. We want to be in a new environment where we're learning, where we're around people that are learning, where we have people that keep us accountable. But how do we get across the way? So when I coach women docs one-on-one, we talk a lot about like little stones across the river. Like we can see it across a large river, but we have to put things in place closely so we can take the steps across the river safely, right? And so we have to build small actions and skills and mindsets so that we can move forward. Again, we're not burned out, we're pre-burned out. We're feeling stuck, we're searching. And I thought that was wrong or bad that I was searching. But I realized as I look back on my life, I'm always a searcher, I'm a builder, I love to share resources. I love to keep looking. I always feel like the status quo can be enhanced, that just because things are a certain way doesn't mean they have to stay that way, right? We can always be more efficient. I guess I'm an optimizer. That's what I like to do, is just keep looking like, where can we improve this a little bit and move forward? And also, there's also that, like, I might have an idea, but there's a pause. I might pause because there's thoughts there, right? So the thoughts might be, it might not work. I might be judged. They might be judging. Put in the comments, they, if you have that thought as well, they, who are they? Anyway, I was reading a book and they were like, who is they? Like in my head, I'm like, well, they might say, but who's they? Like, and why do we care about they? Who's in that group? And why do we care? Just so society is, we're used to judgment against women. We're used to judgment against all people. And so that might be why we stay more quiet, or we stay complacent. We stay over here, but we know we can see a different future. We know we can potentially change the status quo, right? So let's give ourselves the permission to take one step, one tiny step across the river, just set the stone in place so we know. So our first step is to name the real hesitation. What is it? We probably are going to lose something if we take that first step. So we might lose safety, as we call it safety, security, comfort. We might lose energy and time and money. You might lose any of those things if you take a risk, right? So it's good to put in the comments stuck. Why don't you put it in the comments stuck? Where are you? What's keeping you stuck? And what might you lose? So put in the comments loss. I'm going to lose what if you take that first change to get across that chasm, across the river? What might you lose? It just might be just quiet. You might lose that, you're just hiding and the wings, you don't want to put yourself out there. It's scary. They might say something. Who are they anyway? Okay, so that's number one. Name the real hesitation. You're usually losing something, and you might be a presumed safety. But again, we have to look at the data on that safety. Is it safe to stay quiet and to not build your skills or to take a risk, even if it's a small calculated risk? Okay, that's number one. Name the real hesitation. You are likely going to lose something if you change. What are you losing? Just name it. You don't have to fix anything today. We're just naming. Okay, number two, we're going to try to enhance our feeling of safety as we change. So we're going to create safety to move. So we all have a need to feel safe. We hear a lot about psychological safety, but we also need a physical safety, right? So our brain is protecting our well-being, our whole, are we okay? Are we safe? Psychologically, physically. That's the brain's job, protect us. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to go do this and this and this and waste all this energy or time or thought or fill your cognitive plate. You might be in cognitive overload with a lot of ideas, and the brain doesn't want to be overloaded. It has to primarily focus on safety. So when you're thinking about a change, crossing the river with the little stones, we have to make sure we're safe. So we're going to put the stones close together so we have a safe path, right? Some people think, oh, it's safe to stay quiet and shrink and not take that risk. But is that safe to stay quiet? I mean, you tell me what's going on. What are you thinking? You're here. You want to get to here. We're putting little stones across the river to get to your ideal place. Is it safe to stay on one side of the river? Is something coming? We think that we're safe staying the same. So we have to plan and enhance our safety. And that just might be even just thoughts, just battling our thoughts. Like one doc I'm coaching, I had her write down 10 things that went well, that she felt she took a risk, and maybe she didn't even feel confident taking that risk, but she took the risk and she didn't know the outcome. And she could easily write 10 things, and it changed the whole way her body felt about change. And so we have to show our brain, sometimes remind it of past successes when you took a risk and you set those stones in place and you took little steps. So we have to take maybe one safe action this week, and maybe you make it a little smaller than you were thinking. Maybe all you're going to do is make a call or look into something. Again, we're not burned out. We might be feeling stuck. We're searching for something. So taking one action tells our brain like, okay, we can do this. We can take a little action. Okay. The brain sees success. It sees an example that this is okay. That we can go ahead. If you're planning a business, maybe the first thing you're going to do is just open a document and design the business, or write down 3 potential businesses. Just tell your brain like, hey, it could be any of these 3. Any of them would be all right. Okay, so we're getting out from complacency to courageous action. Number 1, we're going to name the real hesitation. Generally, it's something you're going to lose. Number 2, you're going to create a safe place to make a small move. Maybe you have a big goal and you're going to break it into just one small step this week. Okay, number 3, you're going to reclaim your choice, and you're going to find your freedom to make a move. You're going to say, I have to, talk to somebody who's done this. As opposed to, I have to, you're going to say, I choose to, I get to, I'm going to transform into. So watch your language, just reclaim your choice in this, from complacency to courageous action. Is, when you tell yourself, I get to, my husband and I, for a while, we've been saying we get to go to work. because we're both neurologists, and so we see a lot of folks who are unable to work because of neurologic diseases or other reasons. I have family members with like mental health illness and can't work full time or have difficulty working full time. I have an aunt that was living with dementia and she wanted to do a lot of things she couldn't do. So there's a lot of people who don't have the freedom to make these choices. So we have to reclaim our choice in this matter and say, I get to, I choose to, I am building, I am transforming. So watch the language that you're telling yourself, because we can also drive our brain's ability to see options by the language that we choose. So, number one, we talked about naming the real hesitation. Likely you're going to lose something and you might think that is safety. Number two, we're going to create a safe move, just maybe a small step to little stone across the river. Number three, you're going to reclaim your choice in your language, that you have freedom to make choices. I mean, that's amazing, right? Some places do not have the freedom to make choices. And number four, we're going to expand our identity safely. Our only identity cannot be what we get paid for, because we won't always have that job, right? And that is not our only identity. That might be one of them. Like, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm an aunt, I'm a sister, I'm a cousin, I'm a new politician, I'm a business owner. I have a lot of identities, and any of them could change. But I have a lot of identities, and we could even go at a higher level. Like, I think my life purpose is to share resources to help people shine. Um, and I love that. And I do that in different ways. I do it through politics. I do it through medicine. I do it through coaching women docs one-on-one, through my YouTube channel. I like to share resources so people can shine professionally. So that is my identity. And I do that in a lot of different ways, but we have to be careful that if we're slowly expanding our identity, let's say I have a lot of women docs who want a different income stream so they can have more freedom and flexibility. That's a new identity for them. They've never built a different income stream beyond being employed. And so maybe they're going to be a speaker for a pharmaceutical company. Maybe they're also going to stay employed. Maybe they're going to open their own business. So they might have a few different, uh, income streams, and they want that for their flexibility and their freedom, because they feel stuck or at least limited, limited options at just being employed. And so if you're going to expand your identity, we have to do it in a strategic way where you look at your status, because when you're a doctor, that's a certain status in our society, right? When you're a mom, that's a certain status. But when you're a new business owner, you're learning. So your status is a little bit lower. And where do you belong when you're a new business owner? You need to find other business owners, right? Or if you want to become a speaker, you need to go hang out with other speakers, right? So we have to put ourselves around those new identities so we can grow together. And sometimes they call that your growth team or your accountability team. You put people around you that support you and are honest with you about your own skill building and your growth in that area. So we want to make sure that, again, we're using that language that opens our transformation part of our brain, our imaginative part of our brain. Say, I am becoming, I am transforming into. So you're expanding your identity. Okay. So 4 ways to get from complacency to courageous action. Name the real hesitation, which a lot of times you're losing something. Might just be freedom or time or security. Number 2, creating a safe way to move. And you're going to maybe take small actions at a time to show your brain, oh, I got this. It's going to work. Not always, but you can also iterate. Whenever you see something working or something moving, you can then take it to the next level. Reclaiming your choice. Watch your language. I choose to. You're not stuck. You don't have to. You choose to. I am transforming. And then expanding your identity is number 4. Looking at your status and your belonging when you're new at something. It's different, right? And so it doesn't, there's vulnerability, there's emotions, there are thoughts when you're new at something. And that's okay. You can say, I am becoming. I'm new at pottery, so I am becoming somebody who knows what to do with pottery. I am not there yet. Okay. So thanks for listening. So Women Docs, I'd love for you to come and join us in Fresh Path MD. That's a community I built. I just started this year as a small group of us. and we have live events. We go from this stuck pre-burnout to and and then and searching and just not knowing what steps to take to feeling valued, feeling focused, feeling supported, feeling impactful. That's what I wish for you. And we do that through Fresh Path MD. And what's the alternative? That we just stay feeling stuck and we search and we're not sure where to go. Who are the safe people to talk with? We understand each other here. I've taken a whole year of business coaching. So I wanted to really focus on coaching so that I can help docs move forward, just take the time to move forward and keep shining, right? And maybe in a new area or maybe the same area, but just keep shining. Okay, the world needs you working in your gifts. You got this. Thanks for listening. And just put in the comments the best thing you heard today. I'm really curious to hear it. And thanks for coming. See you guys. Have a great day.